Sergio Perez is facing a tough situation in Formula One. After yet another disappointing Grand Prix, where he failed to finish the race for the second time in a row, there are serious questions about his future with Red Bull. The pressure is mounting, and now it seems like Perez himself is acknowledging that his position is at risk. Red Bull has scheduled a meeting with shareholders, and the main topic will be the future of the second seat in the team. The question on everyone's mind is, could Perez be replaced for the 2025 season? Red Bull is currently the third fastest team on the grid, and Perez's performances have come under intense scrutiny. Despite some good moments, like a few podium finishes earlier in the season, his overall performance has been inconsistent. With a meeting planned, things could change very soon. But what does this mean for Perez? Is his spot really under threat, or is there more to the story? Perez has tried to defend his place with Red Bull, but it's becoming clear that the team isn't entirely satisfied with his performance. Even after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the atmosphere around him shifted. Perez himself seemed to realize that a change could be coming sooner than expected. Reflecting on the situation, he said that the upcoming meeting will focus on whether or not he and the team can reach a mutual understanding about his future. Perez's stance is straightforward. He has a contract for the upcoming year, and unless something drastic changes, he will continue racing for Red Bull. But the team, including high-level executives like Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, have made it clear that contracts at Red Bull aren't always as secure as they seem. They've emphasized that every contract has clauses, even for top drivers. This means that nothing is set in stone, and Perez's future could be at risk depending on how the next few days unfold. The reality is, Perez's performance this season hasn't been up to the standards expected of a driver at Red Bull. To make matters worse, he's been outperformed by drivers like Valtteri Bottas and Fernando Alonso, which raises eyebrows for a driver in one of the top 3 teams. While Perez has pointed to the car as the reason for his struggles, it's hard to ignore the fact that Red Bull has been making every effort to tailor the car to his driving style, including changing chassis and adjusting setups. Despite these efforts, Perez hasn't been able to deliver the results the team is hoping for. Christian Horner and Helmut Marko have both been vocal about their disappointment. They've mentioned how Perez's mistakes have cost the team significantly, even pointing out that the failure to secure points has affected the team's bonuses and prize money. Marko was particularly blunt, saying that Perez's mistakes directly impacted the bonus structure for the entire team, which could lead to unhappiness among Red Bull's engineers and staff. These factors, combined with a lack of podium finishes in the latter half of the season, are making Red Bull question if Perez is the right fit moving forward. Despite the mounting pressure, Horner did acknowledge that Perez has been a valuable team player during his time at Red Bull. He praised Perez for his contributions and emphasized that no one, including Perez himself, is more disappointed with his season than the driver. According to Horner, Red Bull did everything they could to help Perez succeed, from chassis changes to setup adjustments. However, the lack of consistency throughout the season has been hard to overlook. Horner also reminded everyone that Perez's contract wasn't signed in isolation. It was based on the strong start to the season, where he secured multiple podium finishes. Back then, Perez was performing well and contributing to the team's success. But as the season wore on, his performance sharply declined, and the results became far less impressive. Perez managed just 4 podiums in total, and the remainder of the season was largely devoid of strong finishes. This kind of drop-off, especially when compared to teammate Max Verstappen's dominant performances, is a huge concern for Red Bull. It's becoming clear that Red Bull kept Perez largely due to the financial backing he brings, particularly from Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim and his business empire. This financial support has been crucial for Red Bull, but it's also become a double-edged sword. While Perez has delivered some valuable backing off the track, his lack of results on the track has led to serious concerns within the team. Helmut Marko has also pointed out that the financial aspect of Perez's contract can't be ignored. He highlighted that if Red Bull's performance continues to suffer, they could lose the financial boost that Perez's connections provide. Moreover, the team's failure to secure the Constructors' Championship has caused a ripple effect. Red Bull is now facing a situation where employees could receive smaller bonuses due to the drop in prize money. Marko expressed that this would lead to frustration within the team, as the staff's compensation is closely tied to the team's success in the constructors' standings. With a smaller bonus pool and less morale, Red Bull may need to make a tough decision to address these issues, starting with Perez. There's no denying that the next few weeks are critical for Perez's future. Red Bull's next move will be crucial, and the upcoming meeting could determine whether he stays with the team or if a change is made. Marko has made it clear that Red Bull's philosophy remains rooted in promoting from within their academy. This philosophy was central to the decision to replace Daniel Ricciardo with Alex Albon in 2019, and it seems that the same approach will be taken now. For Red Bull, bringing in a driver from their own academy isn't just about performance, it's about the long-term future and continuity within the team. This means that the primary candidates to replace Perez are likely to come from Red Bull's academy Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. While Tsunoda has outqualified Lawson in every race session since they became teammates, his connection to Honda and the possibility of moving to Aston Martin in the future could work against him. That leaves Lawson as a strong contender. The New Zealander has impressed during his time as a reserve driver, and Red Bull seems to be considering him as a potential replacement for Perez starting in 2025. Looking at the other drivers in contention, the name Colton Herta comes up, but his prospects with Red Bull seem to be fading. After showing flashes of potential in his time with AlphaTauri, Herta struggled to keep the car on track and failed to consistently deliver strong results. His performance, although promising at times, wasn't enough to put him in serious competition for a top seat. Red Bull's focus now seems to be narrowing in on younger drivers like Lawson, who have shown consistency and potential for growth within the team's framework. Horner's comments about Tsunoda and Lawson give us an idea of where Red Bull stands. While Tsunoda's emotional approach and past incidents have been noted, Lawson has largely stayed out of the limelight and maintained a solid, reliable performance. Horner has pointed out that Lawson's composure and ability to handle pressure make him a strong candidate for the future. In contrast, Tsunoda's fiery temperament and occasional mistakes have made it harder for him to secure a seat in the team, despite his talent. So what's next for Sergio Perez? If Red Bull chooses to part ways with him, they will be losing not just a driver but a massive financial asset. Carlos Slim's backing and Perez's popularity in Latin America are crucial to Red Bull's global strategy, especially in the American market. However, the team is clearly at a crossroads. While they can't ignore the financial side, they also need a driver who can consistently compete at the top and help them secure more championships. If Perez does leave, the focus will be on how Red Bull replaces him. They've already made it clear that they want to stick to their roots, promoting from within their academy. This points to Liam Lawson as the likely candidate to replace Perez, at least in the short term. But with the team's focus on long-term success, we could also see other moves, such as a partnership with Cadillac in 2026, which could shift the dynamic of Formula One even further. It's a dramatic time for Perez, Red Bull, and Formula One fans. The next few weeks will be crucial in determining whether Perez has driven his final race for Red Bull, or if he has a future with another team. One thing is certain: the pressure is on, and only time will tell how it all plays out.